welcome back to round 1-on-1 from the Homeboys. First competitive game back this season, our first game back at Celtic Park, and we're up against the team who last played competitively, last we played at Celtic Park. So, St Mirren line is up against us this Sunday, and as always, I am delighted to welcome big, massive buddies and my buddy, Chris Dailly. How are you, pal?
I'm good, Scott. How are you, mate?
Aye. As I was said before, we could moan, but what's the fucking point?
Exactly.
Right, let's get into it. Right, so I'm kind of, as I said to you a minute ago, I'm 5 years down the line doing this, and I was thinking I should update things and change how I do it, but fuck no. So, as always, we'll be looking back at last season, and then we'll have a gander at things event this summer, and we'll look at the League Cup games and stuff like that. All right, my man? So,
yep, all good.
Last season, another top-end finish. 5th place allowed Stephen Robinson to return again for his 4th season after replacing Jim Goodwin in February 2022. And quite importantly, a return to European football for St Mirren. Their first European game since their 1987-88 European Cup Winners' Cup adventure, where they defeated Tromsø of Norway before exiting the second round versus Belgian KV Mechelen. Due to this, St Mirren were spared the League Cup groups, so the first competitive game of last season was a 0-0 draw in Valur of Iceland. The following week, a 4-1 win at St Mirren Park saw the team through to the third qualifier round of the UEFA Conference League in a tough match with Brann of Bergen in Norway. The league started before that, however, a tremendous 3-0 home win over Hibs. The home tie with Brann gave much hope, 1-0 down after a latish away goal, but even later, Tioso Olosanya strike on the 90th minute was just rewards on the day, even though they kicked up fuss about it. Aberdeen away next, a sore 3-1, but then that was returned up by the return match in Norway. Despite a 74th minute Ikaveti strike levelling things, an 85th and then an 88th minute strike killed the tie and the Euro dream. Now, we'll get back to the rest in a second, but you'd have been away the last time your team played in Europe. And as I remember, you actually made the trip through to Norway with your boy.
I did.
What a buzz that must have been, mate, despite the result. Obviously, Brann went out in the next round 3-2 to Astana, 2 late goals, putting them out, coincidentally. But I remember the time you had a great trip. Norway, obviously, going to be a bit expensive, but you took your boy away, you went to see your team, you were proud of your team that day. Just tell us a wee bit about that, mate. What was it like?
Yeah, no, it was, as you say, Scott, it was a brilliant experience. 43 years of age I was at the time, and sadly that was the first time I'd get to witness my team in Europe. But even at that, it was brilliant having the wee man. He was 10 as well, so just tempering his realism, you know. Saying, I've waited all my life for this, so enjoy it while it happens. Don't get too used to it. But just in general, just getting away, you know, we flew. I think it was Edinburgh, Schiphol in Amsterdam, and then Schiphol, Brann. Just the travel, you know, seeing other St Mirren fans on the way as well. Things that you guys are probably used to, but for us it was a real novelty. But it was a brilliant trip, Scott. The wee man loved it as well. He still talks about it now, asking when's the next time we can get a European trip. So I'm hopeful, maybe, you never know, maybe at the end of this season there might be something in the pipeline, but we live in hope.
Aye, you never know. Indeed. I know you kind of go away with Scotland, and you do some often Scotland away trips and all that, but as you say, going away with your team, even, I mean, you can say we kind of do it. I don't do it as often as everybody else, and you know yourself, it's still brilliant going away with your troops, a wee bit of pride in your team and all that, you know what I mean? Aye, getting beers at these locations.
Aye, it was great. Even at the ground, it was pissing a rain the whole day, Scott. Now, I didn't know that Brann apparently is one of the wettest places in Europe. So it wasn't an ideal scenario for July, but that never dampened the spirits, mate. It was being in the stadium. The stadium was, I don't know, I'm guessing 10, 15,000, but maybe 20. It was a full stadium. And the St Mirren fans, from start to finish, just absolutely brilliant, mate. Outstanding. I've got some brilliant photographs. There's a really good picture as well. I think it was going around on social media where the team are sitting in the row, getting their photos taken with the official photographer, and in the background, all you can see is just a full stand of St Mirren fans. And it was a great experience. Hopefully, one that me and the troops, as you say, and the wee man can do again sooner rather than later. But,
Aye.
Yeah.
But it was interesting you said. So I get frustrated with some of the results by your teams in Europe, right? But there's no shame on going out to Brann. Brann's a decent enough team. Well, they're not tremendous, but they've got a decent, certainly got a European pedigree. They're in European football a lot, and I get frustrated with some of the teams we get put out, and I'm including my own team here. I'm not fucking, I mean, but so you'd say that you felt. I mean, obviously it was 2 late goals.
Aye.
Do you think on your best day you're beating a team like Brann? Aye. Or was the result just fair?
Yeah, the result was fair, but I remember in the first leg at home, they started really well. They started knocking the ball really well. And remember, it's whenever it is, it's July, so we hadn't really got going. Their season was right through then. They were knocking the ball about really well, and I was a bit worried after the first 25 minutes in the home leg. So we knew what to expect when we got over there. And to be fair, we competed in the first half a lot of the time. They did have chances, but they just, to be honest with you, Scott, they were probably just a class apart. They were just better than us on the day. Lovely wee triangles. They moved the ball really well, and we competed, and I was very proud of the club. But the goal they scored after ours, obviously the equaliser was a brilliant feeling. But immediately, literally 2 minutes later, they scored again, and that just killed us, to be honest with you.
Well, you go. I mean, I hope it didn't sound patronising. You got the goal. You got to celebrate the goal. We've talked numerous times on. See Celtic's away record. I mean, we might play in Europe a lot. We don't fucking win a lot. You know what I mean? And like you go away and you're sitting in stadiums. I mean, you know what?
Even at the time when I'm sitting with the wee man and sitting with my mates, and we're just saying, look, hopefully we get something to celebrate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just give us a goal. Yeah. And to be fair, when we did score literally to a man, even older guys who I know that have been gone for 50 odd years, everybody went absolutely tonto. You know what I mean? So it was obviously it was a big deal. It's something to celebrate. You've spent all that money, you spent all that time travelling there. So why it was well celebrated.
I did watch. I watched your Valur, the second leg where you battered them, and I watched the first leg of the Brann game. And as you said, see the first 20 minutes, I was like, oh dear, here we go. But
I was the same. I was worried. I was worried.
So, aye. Hopefully it comes again for you, bro.
Exactly.
Right. League Cup came and League Cup went. A 1-0 away defeat to Dundee United put an end to that before it began. Fuck. So league-wise, after that Hibs win, things weren't great. From the first 10 games, 2 wins, 2 draws, 6 defeats, leaving you sitting in 10th place, 2 points above Hearts and Hibs. So no great start. Things picked up and a wee trend was set for the remainder of the season. You'd have big bursts of good results followed by big bursts of poor results.
Very typical, yeah.
However, on the 12th of April, a late 3-2 win over Ross County at St Mirren Park meant for the third consecutive season under Robinson, St Mirren would finish in the top 6 and avoid any relegation worries, and again maybe grab European football. So the European place didn't happen, but from the remaining 5 matches, the Buddies finished with 3 draws and 2 wins, drawing 2-2 with Rangers, 2-2 with Resurgent Hibs, and of course the final day dramatics at Celtic Park when the last kick of the ball snatched the points for you. Oh, a point anyway. A 1-0 home win over Aberdeen, a 2-0 away win over Dundee, completing the set. So St Mirren finished in 6th place, 38 games played, 14 wins, 8 draws, 16 defeats. 53 goals scored, 59 conceded, goal difference -6, 50 points on board, 3 points behind eventual cup winners Aberdeen, who qualified for a Europa League playoff place, and the same points off of United, who took the Conference League second qualifier place. In the Scottish Cup, January 4th round win over Queen of South 3-1 at Palmerston was followed in February with a 1-1 draw at home at Hearts before a disappointing 4-2 Pens defeat. So that was that for the season. What's your thoughts? Any disappointment in this season?
I was
lack of goals, maybe hurt in terms of getting that Euro place.
Again, a poor start, Scott, probably hurt us. And we spoke about it a minute ago with the European thing. I just don't think that helped us at the start of the season. You know, playing the games away in Europe, that definitely tripped us up. We started to come into it, but very much like St Mirren, we seem to be a run team where we can maybe go 2 or 3 games, win, draw, and then we'll go 2 or 3 games where it's loss, you know, and it's that's what really hurt us. Towards the end of the season, once we knew we were in the top 6, obviously you look at the fixtures and you think, look, we're maybe not going to look at Rangers and Celtic, we'll probably take nothing there. And then you end up, you win, or you don't lose a single game. And you still miss out on the European place. So the last game of the season, me and my 2 pals that go every week, we went for a couple of beers in the Toon, obviously, if you remember. It was a beautiful day. We had the game, Scott. We had the game, man. Yeah. It was a beautiful day. So we went into the Toon, had a couple of pints. And we're just talking, like, it's a weird feeling. You know, normally we played well. We could have won it. It felt almost as if we'd lost. Do you know what I mean? Just and ultimately the disappointment of losing the European place on the last day. And we knew we needed a couple of snookers, but actually performing so well in the last 5 games and still having nothing to show for it, it did feel a bit of a disappointment overall. Right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the last time we spoke, I thought we were maybe going to finish 5th. I thought we were probably good enough to finish 5th, but we just fell short. And that's, you get used to that being a St Mirren fan.
I think you definitely suffered through the upsurge in Hearts and Hibs.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't think anybody would have guessed Hibs would have turned it around and then been that good after they turned it around. Do you know what I mean?
Definite. I mean, Aberdeen kind of held on to that. Aberdeen were 3rd for months and they hadn't won a game. Do you know what I mean? So their points, like you said, a poor start kind of hurts you, whereas Aberdeen's great start fucking set them up for eventually what happened to them. Do you know what I mean?
I know. And I think, to be fair, against the likes of Hibs, I think we took 9 points off of Hibs last season.
Right.
So the frustrating thing is that, and I know it might not continue into this season, but we've proven we can take points off the top 6 teams.
Yeah.
It's before the split where we're drawing and losing to likes of Ross County or Kilmarnock or Dundee you know what I mean? And they're the games that if it's tight, nip and tuck, we need to just find a way to win, mate. And that's what's going to make it different.
You need that snottery a striker. I mean, you look back to, obviously, I said Hearts. Hearts had a fucking rotten season last year. But you look at Hearts a year before, your man Shanklin was changing games where they deserve to get beat into wins for Hearts. And you know yourselves, if you can get that guy for 1, maybe 2 seasons, he makes that huge difference. Ross County's best season came with that. Charles Reagan Cook had the great season and stuff like that. Motherwell again when they had Van der Veen. You fucking had them last season. Hopeless.
For about 45 minutes.
Aye. Right, okay.
No, I know we'll touch on that later about the comings and goings and the signings, but I think you're right. The 5 or 6 goals last season in those kind of games could have made such a difference.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look at you with a fantastic segue. We'll go right into it. So, this season, maybe a wee bit surprisingly, Stephen Robinson obviously had tentative talks in the media that he was looking at a move and stuff like that, but he remains in charge again, which is excellent for you guys. As always, lots of ins and outs. But before we talk about that, the SPFL this summer announced that clubs can have strategic partnerships with teams out with their own leagues. So Mirren announced agreements with Clydebank in the Lowland League and with Dumbarton in League 2. This will allow the clubs to loan players who are aged under 21 and can play for the Scottish national team between clubs freely, which I think is pretty nifty, to be honest. Right,
Yep.
so I'll rattle through these, mate, so you just chill out, grab yourself a wee drink or something. We'll do the outs first, right? So Dennis Adeniran left for Barnet, Caelan Boyd Munce joined Wickham, Elvis Bobomo, Shea Kelly and Gallagher Lennon left and currently without clubs. Owen Foster departed for Alloa, Richard Taylor joined Bolton, all leaving on freeze and end of contract. Greg Kilty joined Kilmarnock and Owen Ossini departed for Plymouth, both for undisclosed fees. Luke Kenny left for a loan with Arbroath, and youngsters Thomas Faulkner, Carrick McAvoy and Theo McCormack all joined the Barton as part of that cooperation loan. And of course, the loan of Zach Hemming, Ryan Alabiosi, Killian Phillips and Roland Idabu all ended. Now, on top of that, we've got the ins. So straight away, Killian Phillips returned to the club after his loan spell. The United States-born Republic of Ireland international midfielder was on loan from Crystal Palace last season, but he actually won the club's Player of the Year. Is that correct? Yeah.
Correct, yes. Yep.
Made the move permanent after an obligation for the loan. Idabu also made his loan permanent, joining from Shrewsbury. The Dublin-born player is also a midfielder. Both players turned out over 35 times for the team last season. They were joined this summer by Jamaican pair Richard King and Jermaro Calvin, both from Cavalier in their home country. The club also signed up Miguel Freckleton from Sheffield United. All five were signed for undisclosed fees. That was interesting, a wee bit of dough spent. So King is a 23-year-old defender who prefers the right side of defence. He's 31 caps for his country. Calvin is a 22-year-old winger that can play as a striker. He's only one cap for Jamaica after previously playing for Antigua and Barbuda. And Freckleton is another 22-year-old. After a few loans at English club, he made the move permanent to St Mirren. The 6'4" player is a centre-back. We have a player returned to Scotland, Jayden Richardson. The 24-year-old right-back was picked up as a free from Boringwood, having previously turned out for Aberdeen. Liam Francis Peter Donnelly was also picked up from Kilmarnock. The 29-year-old North of Ireland international was a wealth of SPL experience, playing previously for Kelly, as I said, in Murrow. Donnelly can play in defensive midfield. St Mirren grabbed another Irish player in Tunmise Sobowale, a Waterford-born 26-year-old wing-back from Swindon on a free. Keeper Ryan Mullen was picked up from Morton on a free. 24-year-old started with Celtic until his release in 2022. And finally, as we speak, Shamal George, Liverpool youth goalkeeper and former Livingston player, was signed on loan from the season from Wycombe Wanderers. The club has also agreed to sign Dutch winger Malik Jeeksteel from Cork City when his contract expires in January. The 24-year-old began his career with Middlesbrough before heading to Whitby, Wrexham and Cork. St Mirren have attempted to get him this summer, but I think that was rejected by Cork, and the player has since missed last Friday's defeat to Sligo, asking not to be picked. So we might see that.
Yeah.
Right. All that. Loads. So as for outs, Munce played a decent amount of games. Taylor was pretty much an ever-present. Bawumo ended up out of favour. Kilty ended up a bit part player. And of course, you only signed Oseni in January and got some decent go for him. It was about 70 grand. So from the outgoings, anybody you're gutted to lose, anybody you're kind of happy to see the backy, and then from the incomings, who you're delighted to keep a hold of, and who's kind of impressed already.
Yep. Well, Caelan Boyd Munce had a good season last year. He was in and about the first team for most of the season. Quite a young boy. He's actually, I think, he's Conor McMenamin's cousin.
That's right, yeah.
The boy we've got. He was a good player. I was sorry to see him go, but if some players are Stephen Robinson said it before. If they bring him over to Scotland, put them in the shop window, and they perform, they can get their move down south to League One, Championship, whatever. And that's your selling point. That's what he's trying to do. So no blame to the boy. Richard Taylor was another one, a good player. We knew probably about January time he wasn't signing. He was a smashing big player. He's still pretty raw. He's still got a mistake in him. He can be a wee bit lackadaisical. But Bolton's probably not a bad move for him. He makes some decent dough. But they're the two kind of standouts. But as you'd said there, Richard King, the Jamaican boy that's come in, he's very much in the same mould as Richard Taylor. Big, strong and quick. Again, looks a wee bit raw. He's obviously, I would imagine that the pace and the style of Jamaican football might be a wee bit different to Scottish football. So I think he's looking at potential. He's looking like he's going to be a starter. And he's a baller. Scott, he wants to play. He wants to play the ball out. He might have to just be a wee bit quicker in moving the ball. Right enough, he's been caught. I noticed he get caught a couple of times against Ayr United on Sunday. But he's looking promising. The other ones, apart from Jaden Richardson, who you probably know as well, at his time at Aberdeen, he's playing right wing back. He's pretty rapid. Excuse the dog. He's pretty rapid. He looks quite handy. And the other boys, Calvin and Freckleton, Subawale, no seen any of them yet. Yeah. The gaffer Robinson did say he was trying to inject a bit of pace. So Calvin, obviously, as a winger, I'd like to think is going to be quite direct, quite quick, because it's something that we maybe missed last season, just that wee bit of creativity. Or Olasanya we had last season, he was our outlet, as you know, when we would try and hit it, go in behind or try and hit teams in the counter because he's frightening pace. So the fact he's away now, he's maybe trying to not replace it, because you're never going to have that. It's a different position. But
how much did you end up getting for him? I know he left kind of late in the season, didn't he? Go to America. Did you get a decent dough for him?
I think it was six figures, Scott. And see, to be honest, see for
I thought he was a good player, man.
Aye, see for April, he was leaving for nothing at the end of the season. Obviously, the way the timing of the American League works out. So, you can't really argue with that deal. If somebody's going to come in with 120, 140, whatever it was, I can't remember exactly whatever it was at that time, because he literally had 5 or 6 weeks left of the season to go.
Yeah. That probably pays for 2 or 3 of your boys you brought in there, eh?
Yeah, aye. The boy Freckleton, he comes with a wee bit of calibre, Sheffield United, so I'll be excited to see him. He looks like a decent player. Couple of them, as I said, Subawale, I've got no idea. They're all defence-minded players, right enough. We do seem to have a hell of a lot of defenders being signed.
Robinson likes a big defender, though, doesn't he?
I was going to say that this season it looks like Land of the Giants, mate, because it's all big, physical, strong boys. Even you look at O'Hara and Killian Phillips, who we've not even spoke about yet. Giants in the middle of the park. Yeah. Probably the best signing we made this summer is getting Phillips back, because he was excellent last season. Really athletic. I think everybody knows he gets about the park really well. But he's actually started to, create chances, score chances, and getting in the goals. So he's looking more like a box to box. He's later. I mean, obviously we're going to come to the League Cup games, and the League Cup games are hard to kind of gauge because of the standard you're playing, and it's almost a pre-season. But from the highlights I've seen, he's arriving into the box at the right time, and he's kind of causing himself. He looks good. There was a game, I think it was a 5-2 game at your place, and he had a smashing game, an absolutely brilliant game. Do you know what I mean? Really, really good. He's looking good. He's fit as a fiddle, the boy. You watch him in the stadium. You don't always see it in the telly, Scott, as you know. He never stops running. He competes. He's going to be a big player for us this season. And the other one, obviously, Adobu, as you mentioned, we had him last season. He was good in fits and starts, but I think he's going to have a really good season this season. He was a boy actually. On Sunday, he put the 2 balls in for the 2 goals that Phillips scored. Yeah, he's got that wee bit of maverick in him, where he's got quick feet. He'll beat a man, get to the byline, and he'll cut it back. But he likes to drift, so he'll maybe start off like in behind the striker. He'll maybe drift out left, drift out right. And you know yourself, defenders hate players like that. They have to follow him about the place. So I'm hopeful he's going to have a big season for us, because he's a talented player, and he's the type of player we've really not got in the team as such. Do you know what I mean? The only thing we've not covered, and my biggest bugbear, is another goal scorer, mate. It was the same.
That was my question. What is it you're missing? And it looks like a goal scorer, to be honest.
Yeah, Mandron, I think, is your number one striker. I really like Mandron. He does seem to split the support, but he needs a hand. Big Ayunga, God love him. He works hard and he tries his best, but I just don't see him getting into anywhere near double figures this season. I don't know if we're looking for another striker. I really hope we are, but I think we need another number 9. Just to try.
When you say a number 9, what are you talking about? Kind of just, I mean, who's in the league that knew that you think that would work really well for us?
Johnny Kenny on loan.
By the way, he's not the fucking worst idea.
No. I generally don't know, mate. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. I like Big Kai Vassell at Kilmarnock, but he never had a great season last season. Mm-hmm. He kind of fell away. I generally don't know. Johnny Kenny would probably be my number one choice, but I'd like to think there's probably bigger and better clubs than us looking at him now. And I know he's young. I
often think getting guys out in the Premier League, Scottish Premier League, is if we've got any intention of ever giving them a chance, then that's the league you're going to be playing in. That's the league. That's the defences you're going to be scoring against. That's where you want to be. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes there's no use sending them to fucking League 2 in England or League 1. Do you know what I mean? They might be a better standard or Championship, but that's just who we need you to fucking score against. Do you know what I mean?
I know. I don't know. That was just the name I thought. That I think because he is a natural finisher, he's quick. I think he would make. I
think you'd give me a chance to get Adam Eder than you.
I would take him as well, mate.
Take him. I would see be all right as well.
No, I would take him as well. No, that's. Listen, that might be different. Other St Mirren fans might be happy with what we've got, but another striker to lighten the load, a man drawn. And the way Robinson likes to set up as well, it's predominantly a 3-4-3, which, as we spoke before, Scott, it turns into a 5 when we've not got the ball and we're defending. But if you're going to go with that 5, you can alter that so it becomes a 3-5-2. And we did play 2 up front last season for some time. So when you're maybe up against a Ross County, a Dundee, a Motherwell, you can maybe try and throw another striker in there when it's a game you want to go and really force the issue and just go out and try and win, especially at home. But then now, Mandron, I think, is carrying a lot of the weight to get the goals for us. To be fair, he scored a couple already, but we do need somebody else in there. For me, anyway. For me, we definitely need another striker.
Cool. Right, so the squad as is decent fucking size squad you've got. So outside of the new guys, like I say, goals were a problem. Who's the main guys? I've got kind of Mandarin here, scored 7 goals last season, which I know you take out Olasanya's 12 or 13, I think he scored. Makahara's still going to be a mainstay in the team. Gogic's a guy who every time he plays against us looks fucking like a world beater. Ocean Smith. But who else? Who am I missing? Who are the young guys coming through looking to make an impression? I mean, for my investigation, Fraser Taylor's been talking well after his loan last season at abroad.
Yep. Well, Fraser Taylor looked really tidy. The last 2 games, I thought he was really tidy wee player. He obviously got the League One Player of the Year and a Roast Player of the Year last season. Yeah. So I'm glad he's getting a chance. He's been with St Mirren for a long time, right through for, I don't know, ages of 6 or something in the academy. And I hate to sound like a dinosaur, Scott, but if you see him against other players, he's tiny. I mean, he is really... And I know that shouldn't matter, but I'm just concerned a wee bit that if he is, and I hope he gets opportunities, but up against maybe the likes of Rangers, Celtic, Aberdeen, Hearts, I don't know if he's maybe just going to get bullied off the ball. He's very direct. He's positive. He tries to pass the ball forward. He tries to pass it around the corner. he doesn't go for the easy or the sideways pass, which is good. And he's a creative player. And I don't want to sound like a dinosaur, but he does look now as if he's very small. But I hope that's not held against him.
No, I mean, the true fact is, if you're smaller than average in a football pitch, you've got to be exceptional, haven't you? I mean, you've got to be better than everybody else. You've got to have something. I mean, that's the true fact. We've all played football. You see a wee guy, you're like, just lean on top of him. I mean, that's it.
Aye. Yes, so he's. I think he's the. We've got the boy as well, Evan Mooney up front, who played a couple of games last season, made his breakthrough. He's a forward, probably not a number 9. He maybe just sit in behind just now. I'm hoping that he would go out on loan potentially. Yeah. So I think he's quite highly rated. He's been in and around the first team for a few months now and into last season. I would like to see him start, but not every game. I'd like to see him come off the bench. Mm-hmm. But if we were to get another winger in, I think it would benefit him to go out on loan somewhere. Right. Maybe at Dumbarton, or hopefully maybe a higher calibre, maybe a League One team. Maybe even Arbroath again, because it worked for Olasanya. It seemed to have worked for Fraser Taylor. I don't know what the link is with Arbroath, but it certainly seems to have been worked for the players in the past. So he's maybe one to look out for as well, mate.
Very good, mate. Very good. Right, this season. So, no Europe, so back in the League Cup groups, buddy. On the 12th of July, St Mirren were paired with Ayr United, Arbroath, Forfar and Annan. After a 0-0 draw with Arbroath and then a penalty defeat, a 2-1 away win over Forfar, and then the 8-2 defeat of Annan at home set up a massive tie on Sunday past with Ayr United. 2 first-half goals, ultimately winning the tie. A second-half hope goal for Ayr making things a bit trickier, but ultimately that win saw you top the group with 10 points, one ahead of Ayr in qualification to the next round. So on the weekend of the 16th of August, St Mirren will host Hearts in the knockout round. So how did the League Cups go? I mean, like we said, Phillips has looked like a great move again to get him 4 goals, including 2 in both the win over Ayr and Annan.
Yeah.
I tried my best to have a gander at it. Things that have stuck out of note, and you can come back at me here, is Ayr United game aside, surprisingly enough, he's only dominating the ball. I mean, according to this, it's every game's 50-50 possession, or 52-53, do you know what I mean? He's only creating a lot of chances, and I know you won 8-2, but I mean, I think the Ayr United, you scored your 2 shots on goal on target, do you know what I mean? And that's a good thing to do, but that's unsustainable, isn't it? So how did the group go? I mean, are you looking, obviously we've already spoke about a striker, but are you kind of happy enough with how it's looking? Because that Ayr United is a big win. Ayr United's a good team. Yeah,
Ayr United played well in the second half, Scott, and put us under a real bit of pressure. It was a strange one. Again, this is probably kind of a good example of how we're currently sitting. We made the subs in the United game 25 minutes to go, and it never helped us. It totally changed the flow of the game. It gave Ayr a wee bit of a lift, and to be honest, whether we took our foot off the gas or I don't know, but we looked poor from that point on, to the point where we were almost hanging on at the end.
Right.
You know what? I don't know if I'm right in the League Cup, but you just need to get through the groups. It's that early. It's that early. I don't really pay a great deal of attention. As you say, Premiership teams like St Mirren, you can't really win, you know.
100%.
If you get beat below our level, then it's panic stations. But we got through. The performances haven't been great, but we got through, and I think really Robinson said it a few years ago, and he got absolutely slaughtered. He's treating it almost like pre-season.
Pre-season, yeah. But you know the first. Anybody I'm talking to that they say, you always treat these. They say basically exactly what you're saying. Just if you get out it, fantastic. That's the aim. That's the aim. Forget about fucking, and then you say, because I think as a transfer window's fucking still rocking and rolling as well. Do you know what I mean? Your team can be vastly different. Your hero in the League Cup could be sold at the end of it.
Aye, exactly, I know. Well, the one thing that came out of it, though, is and we spoke about it, Shamal George obviously came in. We had the big 2 metre Peter, Bigger Munski had started a few games, and he was... he no disrespect to the boy. He's been there.
2 metre Peter, no disrespect to you.
No, that's because he's height, but that's because he's height, Scott. He's 6.
You sound heightish. You sound heightish.
So, he's no a starting goalie for St Mirren, the boy, all due respect. So that made me panic. I think he started the Arbroath game. I can't remember, but he didn't look the part. But we've now got a what I would say a kind of tried and tested Premiership goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. But the same issues with the League Cup campaign, as you said, Scott, we're just against teams, lower league teams or teams that are going to sit in against us and make it hard. We seem to really struggle to break them down. You know, create chances, have shots in target. Apart from obviously the 8-2, which was a freak scoreline. We do seem to struggle against teams that do that, and that's something we're going to need to try and figure out.
Yeah, especially when you come up against fucking Aberdeen. I'll tell you what I noticed if you're watching the games. 2 fucking heated corners that conceded, mate.
I was going to speak about that, mate. How many times I've seen us concede goals for set pieces is honestly infuriating, man. And I'll give the guys the benefit of the doubt. The boys have just signed. They're all 6'3", 6'4". It is the land of the giants. If that continues, I will be doing my nut. That's something you get right in the training ground. That's not like a free kick that somebody puts into the top corner and you go, fair enough. You can work in that. Do you know what I mean? You can work in that and you can prove in that. It might just be a wee bit of the, bit rusty pre-season, early days. But knowing Robinson, he will be getting that hammered into them because that can't continue.
Do you play zonal or do you play man-to-man? Do you know?
It looks more zonal. I'm a dinosaur. I don't like zonal, but
I love zonal. I don't love it. I just think, see with zonal, especially if you've got big guys, at least you can train it every week. I mean,
I know.
If you've got a midget in your team and you come up against St Mirren and they load 6 guys in the box who are all bigger than every one of your defender, how are you supposed to man mark that? No, they're just the bigger guys. But
I know.
Again, that's a different point. Right.
I don't like zonal because it clearly isn't fucking working.
Because it's not working now. Well, that's it. 100%. See, we have a laugh at the games now because of our corners are shit, right? Same as everybody reckons our corners are stinking, but our corners seem to be really, really bad. And I worked to the logic that short corners should be better for a possession-based team. And every time we do a short corner, we lose the ball, and everybody turns around and gives me dog abuse. And I'm just saying, in theory, just battering a ball into a box and giving away the ball potentially is less positive than passing. But
you've got too much time in your hands, Scott.
This is what we chat about, man, as we're trying to sneak our baby in. Right, so on to this weekend. And I stick up my wee banner just to let everybody know. Right. So we played each other 4 times last season, right? So 3-0 victory for Celtic at St Mirren Park early in the season. Carl McGregor's early strike setting the tone. The game at Celtic Park in January went pretty much the same way. 2-0 at half time with a third in the second period. Despite another 3-goal victory, the game in Paisley in March wasn't easy as it suggests. Celtic eventually came out 5-2 victors, 2 late goals, putting some shine on a mega tight game. And finally, the game at Celtic Park in May, the Saints leading 1-0 through a young gap from the 51st minute, and that James Forrest 94th minute strike, probably an unjust finish for St Mirren on the day. But it was all set up for Jimmy, so fuck you.
Aye. You're right there. Right. I think the ref would have played another 7 minutes until he scored.
I'd still be playing it now. So, what we thinking this Sunday, right? So 4:30 Celtic Park, Robinson, as you touched on earlier on, he's still playing with the 3 at the back, which he's used for most of last season. I think he started before, then he kind of went back to 3. Now, considering how, despite the 3-0s and stuff, Celtic haven't battered St Mirren. I mean, I don't know about you're obviously, I've never felt that we've come out and totally dominated a game. With that in mind, the last game involved, and you've often said to me it's somewhat of a free hit. How do you think you set up for the game?
I think Robinson won't change a great deal because he doesn't. There's variations in his formation, but the style of play and I think will be very, very similar to what we normally do. So it will be a 3 that becomes a 5. I think we'll probably again defend quite deep and try and hit ease in the break the way we normally do. But I don't know about you, Scott. You go to the games. I was at Celtic Park a few times last season. I actually thought it's the best season I can remember in recent memory where we've competed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying figured you out because that's no, but it's almost as if we figured out ourselves a way to play against Celtic to try and combat how they play. Now, ultimately, we never got the spoils. We never get the points, but we certainly, I think, should take some confidence into the performances.
Yeah.
That said, I'm still worried about for Sunday.
Right. So I'm going to. We'll no bother with predictions and stuff like that, right? Because we end up this. But before we finish up, right? Because we're on the home straight here. Before we finish up, it's the first weekend in, and obviously he's still building. Maybe a couple of guys will come in, a couple of guys will go out, whatever. How do you see the St Mirren going this season, right? So I would genuinely believe your hopes would be top 6 finish again, maybe get that 5th place. However, as a St Mirren fan, same as me watching from afar, Hibs look like a team who are settled, a club that are settled. Hearts are full of positivity with the Derek McInnes move and the investment. Aberdeen finished the season really well with that trophy win, and it'll be really they spent a fair bit of dough. It'll be really interesting to see what they do. Now, are St Mirren basically competing with Motherwell, Dundee United, Kilmarnock? And then on the back of that, who do you think is going to struggle this season? Just your thoughts on the league.
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Scott. I think, and me and my pals have spoke about this as well, just in advance of the league campaign starting. So, Hearts, Dundee United and Hibs have obviously got the European football. So I think that is going to hopefully trip them up because Thursday, Sundays, can be difficult. Dundee United as well, they've signed 7 or 8 new players. Unknowns to me. Now, they might be very good players, but it's a big turnover. I think they're trying to bring in. So you will know as well, maybe last 5-6 years, Hearts, Hibs, Aberdeen, Dundee United, one of them in 4 at least have had an absolute stinker or a howling season or a howling start. We need to try and get the benefit of that because I think, again, one of those 4, and it might not last a long time, but I think they might struggle to start. And hopefully we can pick up enough points at the start of the season that keeps us in and about that top 6, top 5 for the majority. The benefit of not having European football at the start of this season, hopefully we can try and put a decent run together. I'm not going to say right at the start because we've got a very tough first few weeks, as you will know. But I'm still relatively confident. Top 6 is the target. Bit more optimistic this season than last. I want to see us push on and try and capture that 5th place. Last year I was probably humming and hawing between the 2, but I'm probably betting on one of Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen or Dundee United having a howler. That being the case, I think we can do it. I think we can get to 5th. I think we're arguably the 5th best team in Scotland. It's
interesting because you're right, you're saying at least one of them stinks a place out. and it just goes right. I mean, as we said, Hearts and Hibs started last season stinking. Everybody was suggesting Gray was going to get punted, and the coverage they done was excellent, to be honest. So all eyes on them because they've got that stability. Everybody's expecting Hearts to kick on.
I'm not sure about McInnes either, to be honest.
Huh?
I'm not sure about McInnes. I don't know.
I'll tell you the one that's intriguing me, right? And I hope it doesn't sound like bitterness because of the cup final and stuff like that. But see Aberdeen, they're investing a lot of money. That could be the danger. But everything I know about Trelane, he likes to counter attack. That's how he likes that. That's how his Elfsborg team done it in the cup final. They done it to perfection. Do you know what I mean? They sat in and they got their just rewards in the end up. I don't know if you can be the third best team in Scotland by playing that football. I just don't know.
Do you know it's funny? It's funny you say that, Scott. And I was talking to a boy in the work the other day, a Celtic fan, and we were just blaring away about football as you do. And he was saying exact same conversation. And I said, do you know the two? If I was picking two teams that I think would be probably the most likely to struggle this season, Aberdeen and Dundee United.
Yeah, so two
Aberdeen, same as you. I'm not sure about Trelane, to be honest with you. I don't know what it is. I couldn't really get much of a feel for how he wanted this team to play last season. Mm-hmm. They did play counter-attacking at times. Other times, it was very difficult to see what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
They signed players which didn't seem to fit into any kind of mould or system. I could be wrong, but obviously they won the Scottish Cup final, fair play to them. But as you say, if you're spending millions, and it is millions, you can't sit in and try and break teams down on your counter in the Scottish Premier League. That's not going to be accepted, and it's not going to work.
Yeah. When I done my review of them last season, obviously they'll come to Celtic Park and they get that fantastic 2-2 draw, and they got that 2-2 draw because their manager made two great changes at half time, two proactive changes, and they actually went 3-2 up and VAR chopped at half. But I hate to go on about XG considering both these are dinosaurs now, but if you are XG's one goal and you're scoring 3 goals every game, someday that's going to catch up with you. Do you know what I mean? Because XG is ultimately how many chances you're creating, isn't it? That's fucking. And if you're fucking scoring every chance, no team's ever going to keep doing that, and that's what happened to Aberdeen. You know what I mean?
Exactly. If you look at the start last season, how many goals he scored and how many games it was 1-0, 2-1. They were scoring every chance, and you can't maintain that. Do you know what I mean? And that ultimately, I mean, because of that phenomenal start, it really kept them in there, and they obviously they ground a few results out at the end. But to be honest with you, between Aberdeen and Dundee United, I don't really care which one of them has a howler. But I would just somebody. But I would love it, especially if it was Aberdeen, because I don't like the cunts.
I can see Dundee being the big rock bottom this season. Dundee are having a rough time yet, man.
Well, Big Elvis is the new Scottish football meme, isn't he?
If you want somebody to win games, don't pick me.
I know. Aye. I think I said to my pals, he'll be. I think he'll get his jotters before a pumpkin's been carved.
I think so. Right, I'm going to let you go, brah. Thank you once again for taking your time and sitting with me, mate. Really appreciated. Really interesting talking about your team again. It was great to hear about your European trip and stuff like that. I sincerely hope you get another one. I hope you do. I hope you do well this season. But Chris, thank you very much, mate, and good luck for the season, pal.
Cheers, Scott. Thanks for having us, mate.
On the 16th day of May, in the year of 87, was when the Saints won the cup and the crowd went into heaven. Well, you go, buddies, go, and we'll all go together as we stand side by side. We'll support the Saints forever. Well, you go, buddies, go. We played Rangers one Christmas Eve it was the last time forever. And when we girls all scored this goal, we had the greatest Christmas ever. Well, you go, buddies, go, and we'll all go together as we stand side by side. We'll support the Saints forever. Well, you go, buddies, go. At Hampden one winter's day, when Celtic came a-calling, St Mirren went on attack, and we gave the tech a mauling. Well, you go, buddies, go, and we'll all go together as we stand side by side. We'll support the Saints forever. Well, you go, buddies, go.